thought we had done that.
No, I haven't. I looked through and we
Right.
haven't. So that's what I'll do.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
you'll have to wait and see what we're talking about. There's a bit of mystery as we went live.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, there's no one watching at the moment, but I'm sure they'll all come hurtling in. Oh, yeah, I guess 0 to 5. Hello, 5 people. Welcome to the stream. Here we are. It's Thursday. The lights are on. It's not very nice outside. Hope everyone in the UK survived Storm Angus. Was it Angus or
Agnes?
Agnes.
Agnes.
That was my nan's middle name.
Evening, Richard.
My dad's side. That was my nan's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I think it was her first name, but she, in them days they did a second that she was known as
Aggie.
Joan. She didn't like Agnes.
Oh, right. Evening, Pulsar. Or
Good evening,
Gary,
folks.
we should
Good
say.
evening, Richard. Anyway, hope everyone is well. Good evening, Record Hound.
Yes.
I'm one of the nobodies watching.
One of the nobodies watching.
Lovely to see you again, Record Hound, and thank you for last week. Now, I've got something this week for us that's comedy that I picked up this week in a charity shop. I'll see that later. Anyway.
But before you do that, we have to hold our hands up.
Why?
Because we got so involved in Record Hounds showing us all those brilliant comedy albums that we forgot to check the numbers on the live poll last week, and we closed the stream without getting the numbers.
So the helmets of the week are of Dave and myself for not paying attention. I've done it 2 weeks on the trot now. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it was an engaging show and tell. It was absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that.
That was a great one. Anyway, busy week. 3,681 people have been watching. But what have you been watching?
Not
Good
telling.
evening, Matt. Number 3. I haven't told Dave this one. Number 3 last week. Barclay James Harvest. 76 people watching. And that was
one of mine, wasn't it?
Yeah, and people are watching it. 76 people watched it last week.
There you go.
And still Slade is being watched. 144.
Crikey.
I know. And 20 Bad Kiss songs. Oh, I had some stick.
You knew it was going to come.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, dear.
Thank you both for responsibility for the distractions.
No, it was a good one, Record Hound. We loved it. Top short still is Mr. Roger Whittaker. Last farewell 577. I think that one's going to be at the top for a little while. 28 days. We've had 15,192 views. Oh, I didn't tell you we had 21 new subscribers last week.
Thank you.
Welcome to the newbies. 69 in the last month. That's incredible. So what you've been watching in the last month? Well, status quo, another 265 people. Still amazes me. Slade, last month alone, 758.
Crikey. That can't all be Earthling Borough.
No. And 20 Bad Kiss songs, 869. That's the most I've ever had for a retro ranking.
That's cracking.
Yeah, top short for the month. Good evening, Simon. Roger Whittaker. So this is how many people have watched it since he passed. 1,345 people.
I was going to say 1,400. That's not bad.
Yeah, so there's a lot of love out there for our Roger. So the overall figures, we're now up to 223,301 views. That's a lot. Subscribers, we have now got the grand total of 1,172 subscribers to this madhouse. So,
Must
top
be doing
three.
something right.
Yes. Jethro Tull, still at number 3, with 3852.
Yeah.
Derek Riggs. You remember that comment we had about someone thought I would Derek Riggs?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was quite funny. Yeah, he's still at 39. He's at 3951. Status quo, 7,311. But in fourth place,
Slade.
only 170 views behind Jethro Tull. Slade. Yeah, that could they take him over next week? Who knows?
Ooh,
Be interesting. Top rank is still Jean-Michel Jarre's Oxygen.
Top short.
2,500 people have watched that now.
Well, Oxygen, best album as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay. The only figures we got for last week's Battle of the Debuts, because this day just totally messed up, is what was on the community. And it was Supertramp 18, Beggar's Opera 4. So you went against me again. There we go. Anyway, what have we been listening to this week and what's the movers and shakers in the laundry list? Fela Kuti, I've nearly done. I've really enjoyed this. 31 of 34.
Yeah, it keeps going up each time.
No, that's as far as it's going now. Duran Duran. Now, we've got one more album to listen to, but it's not out yet. So we've listened to everything else. I think Dance Macabre comes out on the 27th of October, I do believe. Cheap Trick, 8 out of 20. So I wonder if I can get this right this week. Morpheus.
Amorphous.
No, I still can't get it right. 6 out of 14. Fate's Warning, 5 of the 13. Radiohead, we're at 4 of 9. Same with Tremaze, 4 of 9. Tigers are Pang Tang, 6 of 13. We have finished Spooky Tooth, and we have finished listening to the Flying Lizards, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Before we go on, I attempted some more Gaelic this week, but I did cop out. Except on a name. I totally balls that up, didn't I?
Unfortunately, yes.
But there you go.
That's why there's a bunch of comments from me on the end.
Yes. One person liked it, though. So there you go.
I can guess who that was.
Yes, a young lady from Canada.
Yes.
Yes, she liked the Sinead O'Connor as well. So that's the end of the weekly roundup. So it's now time for matches and the dispatches.
You're doing more, right? Good evening, everybody. For those who have just arrived, Simon, Matt, etc., welcome. Anybody else who hasn't spoken in the chat before, welcome. This is our roundup of who has passed, who's got a birthday, and who got married. Anyway, dispatches, notable deaths. 20th of September, we lost Catherine Anderson. She was an American singer with the group The Marvelettes. 21st of September, we lost Robert W. Smith. He was an American trumpeter and composer. The 22nd of this month, we lost Mike Henderson, American singer, songwriter, and musician with the Steel Drivers. We also lost Peter Horton. He was an Austrian guitarist, composer, and singer, and he sang representing Austria in the 1967 Eurovision Song Contest. 23rd of September, we lost Terry Kirkman, an American musician and songwriter. He's with the group The Association. The 24th of September, we lost Nashon Breedlove. Now, if any of you have ever seen the film 8 Mile, he was the rapper who challenged Justin Timberlake to the rap battle. We also lost Barry Oliver, an American guitar instructor, and he was responsible for creating the Berkeley Folk Music Festival. And then, amazingly, a lot of us Brits, but a lot of you Americans will know David McCallum, Scottish actor, known for The Man from U.N.C.L.E., NCIS, The Great Escape, the movie. But he was also a musician. He had 4 studio albums. Yes, Rocky. So that's the dispatches. Birthdays. So going from the youngest, 35 today is a young lady, Esme Denters. She's a Dutch singer. 36 today is Hilary Duff, American actress, author, and singer. 39 today is Melody Thornton. She's an American singer and dancer with the Pussycat Dolls. 41 today is Anne Erin Clark. She's known professionally as St. Vincent. She's an American musician and singer. Also 41 is Nolwenn Le Margresse, known by her stage name. Yeah, she's French. She's known by her stage name of Nolwenn Leroy. She's a French singer, songwriter, musician, and actress. 48 today is Mandy Barnett, an American country singer. And 50 today is Jori Hulkkonen, a Finnish electronic musician. 58 today is Ginger Fish, American drummer with Marilyn Manson and the band Rob Zombie. 61 today is Luis Enrique Naya Lopez. He's a Nicaraguan American singer, songwriter, and composer, and he's come up with an awful lot of music. Also today, now, if anybody can type in chat before I finish what this person's stage name is, I'll be impressed. She's 63 today. Her name is Heidi Stern. She's an American singer-songwriter, but we know her under a different name. So your challenge is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are another 9 entries for me to read out. If you can type her name in before I get to the 9th, well done. 64 today is Angela Groothuizen. She's a Dutch singer with the group Dolly Dots. And Billy Montana, an American country western performer. 65 today is Ned Lukehart. He's an American rock musician with the band Wall of Voodoo. 69 today is George Lynch, an American rock guitarist with the band Dokken and his own band, Lynch Mob. 73 today is Laurie Lewis, an American folk musician, and Paul Burgess, a British drummer. My God, he's played with a few. He has drummed for 10cc, Jethro Tull, Camel, Magna Carta, The Icicle Works, Gloria Gaynor, and Sad Cafe. 76 today is a British blues rock singer and harmonica player, Peter Hope Evans. He played in a band, Medicine Head, and he also played for Pete Townsend. 77 today is the lovely Helen Shapiro, British pop and jazz vocalist. And entry number 9. Has anybody put up a name? Let's have a look. Zeb's got it. Well done, Zeb. Well done, Zeb. Yes. Jennifer Rush was that singer. 82 and granddaddy today is Nick St. Nicholas, born Klaus Kassbaum, a German-Canadian rock bassist and songwriter known for playing from the years 1968 to 1970 with Steppenwolf. So those are the birthdays. Famous weddings. 1922, Jimmy Cagney married an American dancer, Frances Vernon, and they never divorced, separated until I think it was Jimmy Cagney passed away first. The other one who had a lifelong marriage was Harpo Marx of the Marx Brothers. At the age of 47, he married an actress, Susan Fleming, age 28, but she had the nickname $1 Million Legs. And quite often you'll hear Groucho referring to $1 million legs. That's who he was talking about. Anyway, that's the hatches, matches, and dispatches. And if you've been watching the news, you might have seen yesterday that in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Sir Mick Jagger has suggested that the Rolling Stones back catalogue might be given away to charity because his kids don't need 500 million to live on, and he's got 8 kids. Anyway, that's all that. So let's pop this up, and okay, you're full screen. Off you go.
Okay, well, let's have a look and see what we're going to be talking about next week. So we're going to start on Monday. And it's our Reggie again, and he's holding an Oscar. So we'll be doing Elton John's soundtracks. So that's part 7. We've nearly done with our Reg, but he wrote some great soundtracks to film and stage. Classic album. Now we're starting a new sort of theme for October, and we're going to go through the Rolling Stones magazine's best albums of the decades, and we're going to start off with number 17 in that list, and it's an album from Beck called Sea Change. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks, going through the Rolling Stone magazine's decades. Tuesday, we've already mentioned this band tonight in Hadge's Match and Dispatches. We're going to be looking at the albums of Steppenwolf, a great band. Mr. John Kay looking rather doody on that picture. Retro ranking. Yes, that is ZZ Top when they were young and their beards weren't full grown. I'm going to do my favourite ZZ Top songs.
Yes.
Wednesday. Another viewer's request for Marathon. Another band that I didn't know much about, but I know quite a lot about them now, and that's the Flaming Lips. Another interesting band, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then next week, round 1 of the mighty Battle Royale, where we've got Nectar's Remember the Future going up against Escape from Journey. I'll explain how we're going to be doing that in a moment. Pick a mix next week. We're going to have a little wander down. We're going to walk down memory lane, and we're going to look at the top 10 singles for the 5th of October, 1977. And then next Friday, live albums. We're going to do a great Scottish band led by well, how can you describe this man? Apart from nuts. This is the sensational Alex Harvey Band. And next week's new album review, the album comes out tomorrow. It's the Harmony Codex from the one and only Mr. Steve Wilson. So that's what's coming next week.
All done?
All done, yes. So I've got to hit that button there, and I can come out of that, do that. And then we're all, hello, folks. I'm back.
Oh, that's a nice one. The record hound picked up. Nick St. Nicholas was notorious for playing 1 fret flat while performing high.
Interesting thing. Anyway, Battle Royale. I'm not going to be doing any scoring. I'm just going to be talking about the albums, because I'm not making no decisions. It's all up to you. So if everyone's just come in, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm not going to do qualities, because we can do that at later stages through the rounds. So next week, it's for the first round. All we're doing is talking about the album and the music and what some good tracks on there. Not my favourites, but good tracks. I've done my research. And I've looked what other people like, and I've been going on things like Spotify and looking at how many people are listening to it. So all good stuff.
Right.
So
I owe everyone an apology. Matt put a correction up. I said Justin Timberlake in 8 Mile. It wasn't. It was Eminem. That Sean Breedlove did the rap battle with. Thank you for that, Matt.
yes, so that's coming up. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going not to a concert as such, but I'm going with an evening with Mr. Francis Rossi.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's the one that Lee got tickets, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting night. He talks about songs and he gets his acoustic guitar and plays a bit of music. So I'm looking forward to that. Going to watch Frame, as Rick Parfitt used to call him. Used to call him Frame. If you want to come and say hello, there's the link. I've got some good stuff to show you. I picked up. I didn't buy any records this week, but I did buy. But once I've got the panel, some people on the panel will talk about that. And some weird comments this week, especially from the Kiss people again. Oh dear, so precious.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. I think it's the first time I've really had some stick. I even had some stick on XTC this week.
Yeah, you mentioned that one.
I think I can't remember what song it is now, but I said I didn't like it. So you go, whoa! And threw his toys out his pram. I was talking to Lee about that today when we were going shopping. What we talk about, and he says, I get precious when people slag off quote, but I wouldn't go and pull my hair out and stamp my feet about it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, which is absolutely right.
It's Nearly Africa was the song in question. It's Nearly Africa was the song in question.
Oh, that's
XTC.
Yeah, I know it's a good. Everyone likes it, but I don't.
Right. As we keep saying time and time again, and you've referred to it so many times on videos, it's personal choice.
And I just do this for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
So, yes, World Cup rugby this weekend.
I'm sitting back. I'm not going to be panicking, stressing, worrying. We're not playing, so.
Rugby World Cup.
Did you see Uruguay beat Romania?
I know. It's all looking good in that.
It is. It's going to be an interesting little group.
Yeah, I've been listening to some other stuff that I haven't mentioned in the laundry list this week, and that was some lightning stuff. And here comes Twinkle Toes, who was so funny the other day when it was on. I think it was Tuesday. We was out on our walk, and where I live, when we get to the top, I let him off his lead because he just wanders down and gets under bushes and all that. And it started raining, and by the time he got to the front door, he was a drowned rat. And that was it. He wouldn't go out again. I had to literally pick him up to go. He'd bark at the door knowing he wanted a wee, and you'd open the door and he just stood there. Looked at the window and then just walked away. And I went, "No, you're going out." Even though it wasn't raining.
He wants you to be caddy for him. Hold his umbrella.
There he is.
He knows we're talking about him.
Yes, we're talking about you.
Hello, Rocky.
There's Dave saying hello to you. But you've already heard him today.
Yeah. Mr. Walker, good evening.
Good evening, Rob.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Enjoy. Well, no, Richard won't be, but I enjoyed your little tate-a-tate on the police.
Yeah, it was a good one, that.
That was very good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your next one with Richard?
It's on Saturday. Bad songs on good albums.
Yeah, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel now, aren't you?
Bit different. I'm sure we'll come up with some. Your cat wants to be a guest star tonight.
Yeah. Curtis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Good battle suggested today by Nick, wasn't it? The Specials and Madness out.
Yeah.
Both albums out on the same day.
Yeah, I did a video about a year ago with 10 groups of albums that came out on the same day, and that was one of the ones that I used. It's pretty difficult, isn't it, to split those two? I think I just choose the Specials.
I think I went Madness because it's just fun. It was just a fun album.
Yeah.
Even that little Chipmunks thing at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all coming up tonight. You can't wait to get on.
Hey,
you right?
Well,
Good
the polls
evening,
50-50.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah.
Oh,
And what? My Sonic Youth, that's gone very well. I haven't had a lot of flack on that. And what was nice that when Zeb said great ranking, couple out of green, I put a message to him. If you approve, I must have got it right. Yes, have you watched it yet, Mike? Because I know you're a bit of a.
I've not had a chance, but I definitely will do. Yeah. I love Sonic Youth. So it'd be interesting to see what you put top. By the way, this Battle of the Debuts is a bit of a close call, isn't it? This week.
Oh,
50-50. So
Yeah. I've gone for Madness.
yeah. And when I put my playlist together today, I didn't for neither of the bands. I didn't put I put Rudy on because I love that, but all the other ones are the ones that no one listens to. So if you've never heard the other songs off the albums, go and listen to them because they're all good.
ooh, Community has it 8-7 for Madness.
Ooh. Yeah, I just think the Madness album is just that little bit more consistent than the Specials.
I always think that people with a very low IQ like Madness.
Cheers, Rob.
I was having a laugh. I like both bands. I like both bands.
Well, I voted Specials. I thought Specials was a better album.
Well, to even it up, I didn't vote, but I would pick Madness.
Yeah, I think in a roundabout way, Rob's just told us he voted for Madness.
Yeah, I haven't watched either of your Michael Simon's latest ones yet because I've been having a war with the DWP this week.
I've watched them. I watched Simon's Epic this morning. With all the clips, quite a few clips on there. Simon, bit of work there.
Yeah. A few samples and what have you.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
That Paint Your Wagon album, you always see that, don't you? In charity shops for like
You
£1.
do,
Yeah.
What's on that then? Is it a lot of it just like a score?
No, they're actual songs from the film because it's a musical, isn't it? So they're actual proper songs.
I've never seen that film.
No, it's a bit of an
I
old
remember when I was a kid that I was born under a wandering star was my mum's favourite record for quite a while.
Yeah.
Lee
It was
Marvin.
#1 in the UK, wasn't
It's even got Clint Eastwood singing on that album, isn't it?
it? It has. I Talk to the Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to the trees. That's why they put me away.
I mean, everything you said about Midnight Cowboy, Simon, totally agree. I think it's
That's a
great
brilliant film. That is such a good movie.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised that what the gym was saying he didn't like it. I was like, what? You can't not like
How
that.
could you?
I know. That's delicious. I think it's a superb movie. It's one of my top 5 easily.
I've not even seen that film. I don't even know what it's about.
You gotta watch it.
Gold Rush.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Well, it's not
It's
a Western, Rob.
No,
What's it about?
no, it's not a Western.
Love story set in the California Gold Rush.
And it's got a great theme as well.
Is it like Brokeback Mountain?
No, no, nothing like that.
No, it's nothing like that.
No.
I couldn't possibly say.
That's good evening, Elliot. Welcome.
Good evening, Elliot.
I like the theme tune that Faith No More did a version of one of their albums, which is not the sort of thing you expect Faith No More to do, but they do a really good version of it.
I watched your video, Mike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And?
I forgot it now, but I watched it.
well, it's nice for you to remember that you actually watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. You had Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick was one where it's Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
You had that, didn't you? What else did you choose? Remind people, then they don't have to suffer.
Right. What did I go for? I went for God Save the Queen.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
You know, because I just think it's a punk record that even people who don't like punk know about God Save the Queen, don't they?
Yeah, but has it been overplayed? Because they didn't even play it on the radio.
Well, not at the time. They didn't play it on Radio 1, did they?
No.
No, it was banned.
Yeah, and I went for.
So how can it be overplayed when it's banned?
Because all the other radio stations played it. All the Europeans and the
Radio
pirates.
2?
Yeah.
No, Luxembourg and Caroline.
That's right. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if there's a compilation with a punk one, you got the Sex Pistols tracks they always go for is Pretty Vacant or God Save the Queen.
Yeah.
I think they always go for Pretty Vacant, don't they?
Yeah, probably. But I went for Our House as well.
Who?
Our House, Madness.
Oh yeah, Bauhaus, yeah.
Yeah. You hear it all the time. Isn't it on an advert as well or something?
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
That is a classic, that.
I popped
It's
some
when you get.
today.
Yeah, there's.
The price of vinyl in HMV is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, sorry. I'm talking over you, Simon. Yeah, Waterloo Sunset I went for. Tainted Love.
Yeah.
And Fairy Tale of New York.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the second best Christmas single. After Merry Christmas, everybody. It's not.
Unless John Bon Jovi sings it.
Oh well. Yeah. Well, living on a Prayer was in my my top 5 hazes.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I had to go for an early 70s Bowie. I would have gone for Life on Mars if PC31 hadn't got there first. So I went for Driving Saturday. Yeah.
I can't even remember how that goes.
Well, the thing is, it's probably because it's sort of got brings back memories for me. Well, went to see
when it starts, you know it, but then someone says Driving Saturday, you're like thinking, what? Which one is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the one that there's a line about the strange ones in the dome.
Yeah.
And I remember during sort of Bowie's last tour before he went to the States and killed off Ziggy Stardust. I went to see him in Brighton at the Dome.
Right.
So he kind of really emphasised the strange ones in the Dome, you see. So I thought, well, I have to go for that. But it's probably not the most overplayed.
Is that one of your favourite concerts? That
it is one of one of my favourites. But there's so many that sort of early, sort of early 70s Bowie period. There's just so much. So many songs.
Out for like 4 or 5 years, it was just incredible, weren't it?
Yeah. I mean, every single was fantastic.
For it to tail off so drastically over the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Is Richard still there?
Yeah,
he did put up this. He said that I'd say Driving Saturday is the most underplayed Bowie single.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, there you go.
I thought.
Yeah.
You see, I've got.
Well, I don't care.
Yeah. It's
if I say it's overplayed, it's overplayed. All right.
It's like rock albums. There's 3 tracks guaranteed on every rock album compilation.
Yeah.
More Than a Feeling, Boston.
Yeah.
Wayward Son, Kansas.
What?
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of it.
Carry On Your Wayward Son.
Nah, never heard of it.
And Don't Stop Believing. Journey.
Yeah.
Every rock album I've got, them 3 tracks.
Yeah. Well, what about the Final Countdown?
Oh,
That turns up like a bad smell, doesn't it? Time and time again.
Yeah.
What annoys me about that Europe, people thought when they think of Europe, they think of that album. That's the one you don't bother with. If you want to listen to real Europe, listen to the ones before that and the ones they're doing now. They're much better.
Saying, talking of turning up with a bad smell, where's Michael Ricefields? Is he coming on tonight?
I don't know.
No idea.
He's probably starting another international incident, isn't
he? Yeah.
Elliot asked a nice question. Did you guys listen to the pirate stations back then or stick to BBC Radio?
Yeah. I used to listen to Radio Caroline.
Yeah.
And Radio Veronica.
Right.
Which was another one out in the North Sea. And then, of course, there's Radio London, wasn't there? But I used to listen to Radio Luxembourg quite a lot as well.
Yeah, that's what I used to listen to in about 77, 78, when I used to go to bed at about 8:30. I had a little radio.
Yeah.
But the signal kept dropping off. But they play a lot of chart music, from like 77, 78.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they used to play proper, what we liked.
Yeah.
Radio 1 was playing all the poppy rut stuff, and Radio 2 was still doing Mantravani. So we had to listen to, I used to listen to Radio Luxembourg. And then when Radio Caroline sort of came back at that, because that went off air and then it came back, didn't it?
Yeah.
I listened to that. But I'm really into the history of pirate radio.
Can you remember the Luxembourg frequency?
208.
208, yeah.
208 on the long way.
I've got a disc somewhere and it's got all the pirate radio jingles on.
Right.
It was 99 pence, and I just picked it up because I just.
Yeah, but you want to see what follows it. Oh, very good, Charles. Very good.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a little special on at some stage on pirate radio around the UK, because it's got a fascinating history, and I love the film Rock the Boat because it's just it's got some great music on it, and B, it sort of encapsulates that period of time of free radio and everyone sitting around. I mean, the generation today don't know about that, but I remember taking a little transistor, no bigger than that, to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then my granddad, bless him, made me a little, because my mum used to complain about me listening to radio at bed and I should be going to sleep. But my granddad, being my granddad, he made me a little headphone, a little he was such a clever bloke. He made this little headphone so I could put it in my ear. And I thought it was one little thing, but I thought it was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to that. And then I used to listen to the test match cricket when, like the Ashes, when England were playing, you know, on the radio, wake up in the morning and listen to the cricket. It was just great.
Yeah,
I didn't mean the boat that rocked, Stevie. Okay, I've said it the wrong way round, but there you go.
Yeah, we all knew what you meant, Ian.
Yeah, just having a thing. Anyway, I didn't buy any music this week, but I did find something in the charity shop. Going on from last week's little comedy thing, I picked this up. Can you make me big, please, Dave?
Do I have to?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Cost me all of £5. This did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look at all the people that are in it. It's 4 films. We got John Cleese, Barbara Windsor, John Sims, Wilfred Bramble, Ronnie Barker, Sellers, Ernie and Eric, Michael Caine, Bob Bunkhouse, and many others. And the 4 films you get, these are absolutely brilliant. You get this is about 30 minutes, 40 minutes long. It's a silent movie. It's a black and white called Santa Fe. It's called Sam Ferrian. It is absolutely brilliant. It's like a family going on a holiday to France on a ferry, and it's absolutely hilarious. The other one of it is called Simon Simon, very similar to The Plank.
Yeah.
This one's got Graham Stark in it, and there's loads of people in. Norman Rossington appears in it. John Junkin. Tony Blackburn makes a guest appearance in this as well. Michael Caine. The other one this is a full-length movie. It's a Peter Cook film, The Rise and Rise of Michael Rimmer. That's got some notable people in it. Graham Chapman's in this, written by Peter Cook and John Cleese. But my favourite, one of Ronnie Barker's Futtock's End. It's got Michael Hood and Ronnie Barker. It's very like The Picnic and Rhubarb. It's absolutely brilliant. That is the best £5 I've spent this week.
Nice. I love it.
Record Hound, I'm sure you would. When I was buying this, I thought there's one person that would be really interested in that, and that'd be Record Hound. So, yeah, that's my buy of the week. Some great comedy names in British comedy, and it is so funny.
Billy, that is Rocky, Iain's Daft Hunt, and Ruler of the Roost.
Yeah, who's...
It's Rocky's house, Rocky's rules.
Yes. Who was now?
Yeah, that Peter Cook one looks good.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
Yeah, I reckon that the rise and fall of Reginald Perrin came about as a result of that. The Rise and Rise, because the Rise and Rise came out in 70, and then Perrin came out 76. So I think one was a direct result of the other.
Yeah. That's a real favourite of mine, Reggie Perrin.
Absolute classic. Absolute classic.
They kept it going for quite a few series, didn't they, Dave? And it kind of moved on. It moved on, didn't it, from Sunshine Desserts? And didn't he have a business called Grot when he was selling rubbish to people?
Yeah. That was the That was his second incarnation or third? Third incarnation.
He had CJ went for an interview, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocky's on one of them tonight. He's not been bad for weeks, but God, he's making up for it. What do you want now? Oh, you want out, do you? Come on.
That's it. What Rocky says.
I misplaced, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just looking at I'm typing in some of the previous presenters.
Mike, when you were listening to the radio, who were your favourite sort of, called them DJs, didn't you? Who were your favourites?
My favourite DJs?
Yeah.
What, back in the day or now?
Well, back in the day and now.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was that thing where sort of like Radio 1 was sort of split into two, really, wasn't it? You've got the sort of the playlist, sort of like daytime Radio 1,
Yeah.
where most of them are now in prison.
Yeah.
And then you got from about 8 o'clock, you got the sort of you got the nighttime stuff. But before that, Alan Freeman used to do a program on. I think it was on Saturday afternoon, and I think he might have done Sunday as well, because he used to do the chart rundown on Sunday. But I think he had his own program as well.
Yeah.
So he used to play a lot of sort of, you know, classic rock and prog and stuff, because it was the early 70s.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I mean, really, when you talk about your favourite DJ, you know, in the 70s and 80s, you can't really see much further than John Peel, can you?
No.
Well,
John Peel was great, and I grew up on Tommy Vance as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
The music vendor.
I didn't really listen to John Peel that much, because it weren't when I was listening to music at that time of night. So,
I thought you were going to say it was past your bedtime.
well, I just never listened to that sort of in the 80s. At that time, I wouldn't have been listening to the radio at night. So I never really, but I do like John Peel, obviously. What he stands for. I mean, there's stuff on YouTube on his record collection. You know, his wife kind of invites people round and have a look and pick through his collection, etc.
Yeah.
Those are quite interesting. I mean, there's loads of things on YouTube, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot better things than the sort of stuff we put out. But yeah, anything John Peel related is usually quite interesting, isn't it?
But for me, you know, sort of like, sorry, Simon.
I suppose all those kind of personalities on the radio must have like completely faded out when I was like growing up, because I can't recall anybody. You know, it was just about the music.
All right. I like that's strange, because I mean, John Peel. I mean, you know, I was getting into John Peel obviously a bit earlier than you, Rob. You know, so
yeah,
he was invaluable when punk came along. You know, I think without him, probably wouldn't have heard it on much punk on the radio at all.
No,
but you know, people would send him tapes and he'd play them.
Yeah.
You know, and that was invaluable stuff, and he was all part of that sort of, you know, that kind of DIY sort of ethos. You bypass the big record companies, and and you release your own singles.
Yeah, he was sort of responsible for Mark Boland as well, because he championed Tyrannosaurus Rex, but as soon as he'd gone commercial, he said he'd sold out.
Well,
you knew deep down that John was really chuffed that Mark made it big.
I'm sure he was, really, but I'm trying to recall. I think this is right. I think Peel said that he thought that Teenage Kicks was the perfect pop single.
Yeah. I think with John Peel, though, he was always, once someone became successful, he was moving on to something different.
Yeah.
He wasn't someone who, even though he'd like whoever he sort of championed, he was always looking for the next big thing, or not the big thing, just the next thing that interested him. I think that's why he
became too commercial.
Such a loyal base of sort of people who enjoyed his programs.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's what you need, you know, sort of, you know, everything gets sort of stagnates, doesn't it? If you say, oh yeah, these are my favourites, and I'm just going to play these people. Because there was a thing that, you know, Peel used to do is Festive 50.
That's right, yeah.
Every year. And first off, and it was kind of late 70s, I think, this one, when there was, you know, I mean, punk was sort of like in its punk career.
Yeah.
And the listeners voted Stairway to Heaven #1. So after that, you know, I think he changed the rules a little bit. So you know, it had to be new stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit like Annie Nightingale as well. She used to play.
Oh yeah.
She sort of was in that ilk of John Peel, wasn't she? She would.
They were looking for new stuff.
Yeah. She was in the evening, wasn't she? Sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like on TV, you got Bob Harris doing the old grey whistle test. Another person that would champion bands. I mean, he got Judas Priest on old grey whistle test before they became this heavy metal band doing rock and roller. Which is
OGWT was essential watching.
Yeah. There's some great clips of Alex Harvey on that.
Oh yeah. I can still remember when Alex Harvey, they did Delilah, didn't they?
Yes, and
Chris Clem Harrison sort of creeping about the stage.
Yeah, and Chris Clem wore his underpants on the outside, and then him and Clem, when they did that dance, they were really shaking the booty.
Yeah,
one of the great performances. Here he is, the man that chose today's Battle of the Debuts. A very good choice, sir.
Good evening, Nick.
Good evening, Nick.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm babysitting at the minute, so if she starts bawling, it's bottle time, so I'll be off.
Yeah. So you got your high vis on, have you? So you see.
I'm still in work gear.
Oh, God.
I thought it was so baby could see you coming.
Yeah, that was good. That Battle of the Debuts. Enjoyed that.
Yeah. So what's yours then? What are you going for?
I voted for Madness. You can shake your head as much as you like.
He just wants to be different.
Yeah, the Specials album's good. The only thing that lets it down is that slow version of Too Much Too Young. That's the only thing that lets it down. You could argue that the only thing that lets the One Step Beyond album down is that Chipmunks a Go at the end.
I love that. That's really brilliant.
But it's it's the thing with Madness. I don't think they ever took themselves too seriously.
No.
They're a good time, fun band, you know. But the fun, we've got that one, Rob. That's general public, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of it? What do you think?
They were all right, but they were never going to be the new Beat, if you get what I mean.
Some of the tracks on here sound like the tracks that were on the final album, you know, Special Beat Service. You know that track, The End of the Party. Do you remember that one?
I haven't listened to it for a long time. I've got.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect from this, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. I'll show you another record. And this is a lot better than this record. I picked this up, and it was a very, very poor choice.
I've got that.
I haven't got any Squeeze albums. All I've got is Cool for Cats. That's about all the stuff I ever listened to by them.
Yeah, so it starts off with Pulling Muscles from the Shell, which is an amazing song. Another Nail in My Heart. There's a couple of half-decent tracks on here, but there's a lot of absolute rubbish on here. So this is one that I'll be sending out as VCLT to someone who I can't stand. I wonder if Mazzy's got a copy of this. I'll send the copy to Mazzy.
Yeah, maybe you should. But I mean, Squeeze, one of those bands, is that if you got the greatest hits, that's all you need.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, Mike. That's all I've got is the greatest hits.
I listen to, like, I know Richard and James Griffiths are big fans of Squeeze, and I've got Cool for Cats, and I like I like the cover more than I like the music. I just love the singles though. I mean, this has got Pulling Muscles from the Shell is just absolutely brilliant song. That's the song that I never get sick of. Every time I listen to it, I absolutely love it. But then there's 3 or 4 on here that are just awful. So I paid £7.50 for this, and I regret it really. But yeah, not one that I enjoyed anyway.
Right.
Oh, nice, Matt. He's off to see Squeeze and Psychedelic Furs on Monday.
All right.
Yeah.
They're a good band. I've seen Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nick.
Hello.
Your comment on my video where you said my 10 tracks I never get tired of. You said there was one on there that you just can't stand.
Right, you'll have to wait till I put my video up. I've been making lists today.
Oh, right.
But
Right, okay.
it's already been mentioned in the comments. One of the songs I absolutely detest, and that's that Don't Stop Believing. Oh, what a bag of old shite that is. I hate it.
It's been overplayed. It's been overplayed.
Yeah, it is over. It's a great song, but it's overplayed.
Yeah.
I can say the same about Bohemian Rhapsody. It's overplayed.
Yeah.
But there's some songs in one of the lists I was working on, like you say, they've been overplayed. They've been played and played and played and done to death. You just end up hating them.
Yeah. It's been killed.
Yeah. And I've got a few like that.
Yeah, it's when people come, when you say like a band, let's take Bon Jovi, and they go, "What's your favourite Bon Jovi song?" And they go, "Living on a Prayer." That just sums it all up, really, doesn't it? They make better songs than that.
Yeah.
Stevie.
Yeah.
Stevie, that's vicious.
I mean, Bon Jovi is a closed book to me, and it's going to stay that way.
Was I rejected from the Glee audition? Jesus. There's no Glee in that bloody song, I'll tell you. Complete and utter horse poop.
Nice. Great for those of us with ADHD. Yeah. I think you're right, record down.
Yeah, Dusty Spins search.
Right,
you put it up. I'll read it.
There it goes.
Yeah, he says, I've only got Squeeze the Singles. I've been meaning to dive deeper into their albums. I think what Rob said and what I think Michael and myself said, they're an acquired taste, their album stuff, isn't it?
Squeeze, yes.
Yeah. Have you got, how many albums have you got by Squeeze, Rob?
I've got Cool for Cats, I've got Argy Bargy, I've got what's that one called that's got Is That Love on it? I can't remember. Is it called Is That Love? The album East Side Story, that's it. I've got that. I think it's called Cozy Van Tutti Frutti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that either.
Yeah, so Dusty Spins he wants to dive into their album stuff. I says, well, it's an acquired taste, isn't it? Their album stuff.
I'm not sure if it's a little bit like, so it's like Nick Lowe, Dave Edmunds, that kind of rock pile, that kind of feel. I mean, they're great songwriters, aren't they? But I don't know whether it's like the singles, they get overplayed and they're brilliant. So I always think if I keep playing the album, there'll be a few gems on the albums. And I think there are a few gems, but there's always a couple of stinkers as well. But a lot of people would probably say most albums have got a few stinkers on. So maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on them. I want to really like the albums, but I'm always a bit disappointed.
Dave, we've got Martin waiting in the wings.
All right, bear with me just a moment.
Going back to those to the One Step Beyond and Specials album,
Yeah.
you didn't mention there's probably about 3 or 4 cover versions on each one.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Hey,
There
bye,
is.
Dave. I'll speak to you
Dave.
soon.
You know.
Did
And we welcome up Martin. Good
Hey.
evening, Martin.
Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me all right?
Oh,
That's a nice background. Take it you're not in the
Yeah, I
Flat
know.
Forest.
It's a forest. Do you like it?
Yes, very,
No,
very
no,
nice.
I'm not. There's some hobbits there. Can you hear me all right?
yeah.
Yes. Yes. And there's no
It is
echo.
working, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked out what to do now,
There is.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've turned it down. I've turned the live stream down and then it's just on the StreamYard. So, no, I'm all right. How is everyone? Rob, how are you? I haven't spoken to you for ages.
No. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right now.
You're all right,
Delay
yeah?
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just all right. That
What
doesn't
about
sound very
Arsenal then?
convincing, but
Yeah. What about the derby then?
well, we've got 2 problems. Yeah, I think Nketiah was lucky to stay on, definitely, and we've got 2 goalkeepers and can't decide which one's the it's supposed to be competitive, but you have your England keeper. You would have thought it'd be enough, wouldn't you? And it's intimidating.
I
to
don't know why they
opposition
brought him. I
fans,
don't know why
isn't
they
it?
got him.
Well, loaned him. He's loaned for a season, isn't he? So
Yeah, all right.
just it'll be Man City to catch, won't it? And I think them losing last night has done them a bit of a done them a bit of a favour in a way. Anyway,
Martin, what have you been watching on the VC? I'm sure you watch it like avidly.
I haven't because I've got a new job and I've just been busy. Headley came down. Headley came here
yeah.
about a month ago, I suppose. We went out in Aylesbury for an evening and put in the VC to, putting it in the correct order that it should be in, sort of thing.
I can imagine.
And we swapped, swapped some records and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some stuff for you, Mike. That's single, and I've got some other stuff, but I haven't posted it yet. But I've got your address, so yeah.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
And I mean, there was going to be some sort of meetup, and then it didn't really happen. And then I just thought, well,
Yeah.
So
Fell flat, isn't it?
yeah, ho hum, yeah.
Yeah,
Fell
but
flat. Yeah, that one fell flat. Other bits
you
haven't
get,
done, but
you get all these people
yeah.
in America who are like flying through time zones, and people can't even be asked to get on the M1. Through time zones, and people can't even be asked to get on the M1.
No, it's a bit sad, but
Are we getting a bit of echo, or is it just me?
yeah, I sense so.
Echo, aren't we?
That's probably me then.
Yeah, it will be you, yeah.
Probably me. I'll just sit and watch then. I'll just sit and listen.
Yeah, this is. I'll just put this up. The vote for the Madness specials. Yeah, every time you come on, Martin, you got confusion.
Yeah. Have you muted the?
What about that? I've closed. I've closed it. If I close it, then surely it would go. No,
It should do.
is that any better?
It should. Hello.
Testing.
Hello. Testing.
Hello. Headphones on. Oh, I haven't got any headphones. I don't think. Not to hand anyway. Yeah. Unless I can.
Seems
Hang
all
on.
right
Let's see if I can borrow my
Okay.
wife's headphones. Hang on.
It's all right now, mine.
Charles has got it right. Echo and the Bunnymen making another appearance on.
Oh yeah, I'll show you something I found behind my bins yesterday afternoon.
Oh,
This will be interesting.
Yeah, it's recycling day, so I need to put the bins out Wednesday evening, and I just uploaded my latest video. And behind the recycling bin, there was a parcel from Amazon, and got this in it.
That was lucky.
Got it, CJ Harvey, white chalk. And I've been talking to Mike PC31 about PJ, and I just happened to mention that White Chalk was the one solo album of hers I didn't have. So he sent it to me. So how about that?
That's
well
brilliant.
done.
Yeah. So it's not a best album, but it's pretty good. It's very sort of melancholy.
Yeah.
And Mike tells me that she was actually, while she was making this album, she was actually learning how to play keyboards.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, if you like PJ, it's well worth getting this album. I listened to it a couple of times today, and it's pretty good. So
Yeah,
so I was
I
really
like that.
pleased to get that.
Yeah, it's her birthday in a couple of weeks' time.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're going to send her a card, Ian?
Well, we share the same birthday, you see.
When's her birthday?
9th of October.
Martin,
Oh,
do you
mine's
like
7th.
PJ Harvey?
Oh yeah, I definitely like BJ Harvey. Yeah, but I haven't got much by her.
No.
Yeah, she's quite a interesting lady, isn't she? To be fair.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you,
Yeah.
Simon?
Means nothing
Yeah.
to me.
No.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm banking on PJ for the for the contest. So
I always feel like she's someone I should really like, but I'm a bit underwhelmed, if I'm honest.
oh well.
I think Steve Whitty's a big fan of theirs, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your son?
Oh yeah, Steve Whitty.
what a
What
hit.
happened to him?
Oh, he's still about, isn't he? I don't think he's. I don't think he. You occasionally see him on the VC Facebook page,
Oh, I don't go on that.
and occasionally on on Instagram.
Right? Yeah. He's on Instagram, isn't he?
Ooh. Oh, hey.
Yeah,
I've
Paul
met
Sharp asked the
Steve.
question. Am I doing a top 10 then? Well, I did my UK top 10 last year, but this year I'm going to be doing what was the top 10 from America. So if I did your birthdays last year from the UK, I'm going to do them next time round for the USA. So if you're a USA, you get the UK. And Pulsar, we are actually trying to find out the sheet music for when you were born, because there wasn't a chart. Dave and I are going to be researching that. We've got plenty of time. So, yeah, I will be doing something for my birthday. So,
There's
yes.
there's a record fair on in Birmingham at the Motorcycle Museum next month. That's normally quite a good one.
Yeah.
Shitloads of parking. Oh, sorry, there's lots of parking there.
You went to Reading, didn't you, Nick?
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me and Martin met up. Simon was there as well. That was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Last
They've
year.
changed venues now, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's only last year, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I've never
That's 2
been
years.
to the old one, so I can't really compare it. So
Yeah.
there was one.
That must be
It was at the
last year, because 2 years ago was lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, well, time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was at the Students' Union.
Yeah.
There was. You went in through the entry. You paid it was £4, which I thought was a bit much, really. But
Yeah. It is.
you could see straight ahead of you. There's one sort of biggish main hall.
Yeah.
But when I went in, as it turned out, there was 3 other sort of smaller rooms leading off from it all. So there was loads there, loads to see, loads to buy. I mean, if you didn't come away with anything, I think there must be something wrong with you. There was absolutely shed loads of stuff.
Yes, buyers.
Oh yeah.
It's a buyer's fair, definitely.
Yeah,
It's very
I think
different from all the other record fairs I've been to. It's yeah, there's a lot of competition, so there's a lot of cheap stuff there, wasn't there, Rob?
Yeah, we didn't
Do you
spend
remember?
enough time though, did we, going round? I think John wanted to get off, didn't he, and get in the pub.
I think he did,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I could have
Yeah.
walked around for another couple of hours easily.
There's quite a lot. Sorry. Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, I've sold at Reading, and it's expensive to have a table to sell there, but
Is it?
yeah, it's you can do all right there.
What sort of prices do they charge? About 50 quid, is it?
what, for a table?
Yeah.
For a table.
Oh,
Ooh.
I wouldn't know. Wouldn't honestly know.
I think it was about
How much?
I think it was 60, 70. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Because it's part of that chain of record fairs. Is it a VIP or a?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of money to get back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like for selling, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I tell you, who I saw the last one I sold at. I saw Harris. I saw Harris Pilton. I met him.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, hiding under his baseball cap. But he was a really sound guy, you know.
What's under that
really
baseball cap?
extensive knowledge of music. Well, he's under there.
I think
Yeah, he's hiding. Yeah, hair. You mean? I think he has some hair. I can't remember now.
Yeah, you've even on his videos, Martin, that Harris he comes in as a very knowledgeable person, isn't he?
Yeah, but
And,
anyone can come
yeah,
across knowledgeable
yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
Even you, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
why
I've
we're
got
here.
a question from Mike here, from Charles. What's your favourite Susie and the Banshees album?
Oh, I don't know. Kaleidoscope, maybe.
Susie and the Banshees' greatest hits.
Yeah. So yeah, probably Kaleidoscope. Yeah, it's got. What's it got? It's got Happy House, and I think Christine was a single on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one. But you know, with a lot of these bands, you know, that I like, it kind of changes. Depends on my mood, really.
So the person who produced that, it's the same person who produced the first 3 Police albums.
All right.
He's called Nigel Gray. I only know that because I did a bit of research, you know, for that video I did with Richard.
All right.
But he kind of disappeared. He did Juju, he did Kaleidoscope, he did the 3 Police albums, and that was about it, really. And
Yeah,
5 pretty iconic.
You made a few
albums.
quid though,
Pretty
didn't
good
it?
albums, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I guess you could say faded to grey.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
That was a stinker.
Yeah.
That'd have been relevant if he'd have done a Visage album.
Yeah, but it was of its time, wasn't it? You know, it was that period where what you looked like was far more important than what you sounded like.
Yeah, it's a bit like the VC.
And your sound, if you were going to do the sound, you had to be clean and smooth and all hip and trendy. You know, I hate 80s production. I'll be doing Susie and the Banshees in December, ranking them in the.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do Susie Sue as well at some stage. So.
Yeah.
All that to come.
You know, we've got this National Album Day coming up, haven't we, in a couple of weeks? And the one album that I want to get is Susie and the Banshees, and that's Rapture.
What's on that album?
that the
What, is it
last
a live
one?
album?
I can't remember. It's It's a later one, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, obviously it's
It's a kiss
90s because
them
that's the
from me.
theme.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Kiss them from me,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Apparently,
Shadowland or something.
right.
yeah, apparently Stevie said that he did Godly and Creme as well.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so it wasn't all good stuff then.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with a bit of Godly and Creme?
Nothing really. I just wanted to be a bit obtuse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
He was trying to be
talking about-
controversial.
yeah, yeah. Talking about Harris Pilton, in his sort of latest video, he chose "Ashes to Ashes" as one of his best
Whoa.
songs,
Well,
and he said,
what a load of garbage that video was.
"Oh, come on, Rob, bit of charity here."
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Enjoy the silence. Overplayed. Is he taking the piss?
Well, you know, I enjoyed the video. I don't care if it's factually accurate or not. But one thing, what I was going to say is one thing he said. It's about "Ashes to Ashes," and he said David Bowie invented the 80s.
What a load of shit that is.
And, yeah, but I think it was sort of, you know, we were heading into that. We were heading into that period, weren't we, where it was sort of, you know, you couldn't get into a nightclub unless you're wearing fancy dress, you know. you remember the days, you know.
You didn't have to wear fancy dress to get in a nightclub in Oldham, I can assure you.
No. But yeah.
Good
No,
God.
but he said This Charming Man was overplayed as well. I don't think that's overplayed.
No. If anything, that's underplayed, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
In fact-
people got a bit confused.
Yeah, well, we're all getting old, aren't we? Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to multitask here.
Anyway, Mike, what do you think is the most popular album in the vinyl community?
Well, you mean not just us, but
No, in
everybody.
the vinyl community, what is the most popular album, do you think?
It's got to be a Beatles album, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking.
I would go for something like Revolver. That people are always showing Revolver.
I would
The
say
Shite album.
Abbey Road, Let It Be, one of those two.
Because there's 3 people who have got Quadrophenia as a favourite album of all time. Me, Stevie's Vinyl Cupboard, and what's he called? It's called Jeff. Can't remember his name now. But there's 3
Speaker.
people.
Speaker.
Pardon?
What about the bloke who's right underneath you now?
What about him?
It's my favourite album of all time.
Right, well, that's 4 of us then.
Oh, there you go.
So I
It's
think
not mine.
Quadrophenia is the most popular album in the vinyl community.
I don't know, because I mean, you look at a lot of the US channels, and the Who don't get a look in, do they?
No, I don't.
Yeah, but
What about the
they're all split, aren't they, and divided. Whereas Quadrophenia's got 4 votes there, and it might be somebody else. I think Jeff Witchell, he likes the Who as well. There's a few people really like the Who.
Well, yeah. I mean,
There's somebody else as well.
Oh, Jeff
Oh,
Witcher.
Froghat.
Jeff Witcher.
Bill, yeah, Proghat, and Bill's Vinyl List. He's a big fan of the Who. So I reckon Quadrophenia could be the most popular album in the vinyl community.
yeah, it's possible. It's possible, you know. But you know, I can't imagine how anybody could not like the Who. Basically, you know, they're one of those bands.
Yeah, I mean, I used to say that I'd always prefer the Who to the Beatles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easily.
And I prefer the Stones to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I thought the Beatles were a pop band. The Who and the Stones and the Trogs were rock bands, and the Kinks. They the original sort of rock, the heavier bands of the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, particularly, the Stones and the Who, they've got their roots in sort of blues, haven't they?
Yes.
Right.
Whereas the Beatles definitely don't have.
No. More pop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
the
like the Kinks. They were the first band that uses distorted guitars. Because there's a story that Ray Davies says they wanted a different sound. So they got a razor blade and cut their amp. And the phrase made a dirty sound. And he believes they were the first band to do distorted guitars.
What about you, Martin? I don't hear you speaking about 60s music that much. What's your take
Stay
on
out
things?
of it. I mean, I like the Beatles. I like early Rolling Stones. The Who, yeah, obviously. I mean, the Who were sort of like, they were very blues influenced. They were mods, and then they became a rocky band. So they're probably, unless you were a die-hard mod or you were like a greasy person in the 60s that didn't like mods, okay, then they sort of went right across the subculture. Sorry, I did media studies, so I'm going to start talking like that. So I think they sort of like pleased everybody in a way. Whereas Rolling Stones, if I'm being critical, I'd say they've been rubbish since about early mid 1970s, and the Beatles obviously did 11 albums, did they? And then they've all got patchy solo careers.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think Paul McCartney is probably the most successful out of the Beatles.
Commercially,
Yeah, it's successful, but it's still a patchy solo career, isn't it? Really, I mean,
I mean, McCartney's produced a load
they're all old men.
rubbish, haven't they?
They're all old men now, aren't they? You shouldn't expect too much from them, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Rolling Stones on the Steel Wheels tour at Wembley when it was like Bill's last gigs with the Stones. That was a terrific gig. You know, I'm so glad I saw that incarnation of the Stones.
Yeah. What year was that?
They're good live, though, aren't they?
1990. It was the 4th of July, 1990,
Right.
which was the same day England played Germany in the semi-final of the.
God, don't remind me of that.
We knew the spot was going on because Mick had a telly backstage, and he kept coming out telling us.
I think people get a little bit lazy when it comes to the Stones, and they'll just sort of airbrush it and say they never did anything after Under Cover of the Night, which was about 84. So that's like 40 years ago. And I'd probably say the same, but I've not really listened to a lot of the later albums because I'm just not interested. But I'm sure they've done some good stuff.
Steel Wheels is a good album.
Yeah. No, I think after Steel Wheels, they just kind of got worse, personally.
Right.
It's just this new album. What's that going to be like?
Can I ask a question? Just, I mean, who do you relate to? Like Rolling Stones were all sort of like grammar school boys, and then they've become businessmen. The Beatles, they like met at art college a little bit or something. They're all really working class, too Protestant, too Catholic. The Who, no. Well, Pink Floyd, I suppose they were all art schooly people, weren't they? Queen, you had Brian May, who was in, did his cosmology or whatever he does.
Yeah, they were all the moon. They've all got
who
degrees.
Who do you relate to the most out of all the bands? And do you see what I'm sort of getting at? It could be a working class, or could be more like someone. I mean, maybe Rob. It's Inspiral Carpets because they're your home-grown kind of thing.
Yeah, because I grew up with Graham, but Paul Weller was like the person who I kind of.
Paul Weller.
definitely
relate to hero.
Yeah, but politically and just fashion, everything really. He's like the one musician who sort of transcended everything. Those other artists you're talking about, they're a generation older than me, so they're not really. I'm not really that interested. Obviously, I love the Who. I love the Who.
I mean, that's right.
I'm not like. I don't feel like I've got anything in common with Pete Townsend like I have with Paul Weller.
You see, for me, I mean, okay, Status Quo, they, they're all from normal backgrounds. But the one band that really sort of thing is Nats Marillion. I mean, at one stage, they hadn't got a pot of piss in when they started. And, they're all from your neck of the woods, Mark, around Aylesbury and all around there. And, Fritz came all the way down from Scotland, broke, and they all lived together in the same house, and they hadn't got money. They've gone on to do great. And I can relate to that because that was a hard-working band.
Yeah.
Another band like that was Magnum. They took so long to become big. They did it the hard way, touring all the time, and then
they made lovely ice lollies.
That's what I was thinking as well. But anyway, I think I saw them once, Magnum. What about you, Nick? Who's your hero stroke?
Heroes?
Person you relate to? A hero. Yeah.
Hero, music-wise? Oh, Christ, I don't know. I suppose, in a way, Johnny Rotten.
Okay. Yeah, I've read his book. I read one of his books.
I suppose back. Well, I was a bit too young for punk, but it's very. They were him and the rest of them were very sort of anti-establishment, and I suppose I was back in the day, 15, 16. I suppose I was a bit of an angry young man. And but other than that, I suppose. Well, I've always thought Paul Weller was a bit the sort of look at me, very sort of art student-ish. One of those sort of types. Student type sort of thing.
What are you talking about?
But as much as I love the Jam. Is Madness as well, because they were a good sort of fun type band, because around that time, 16, all I wanted to do was go out, have a laugh and a joke, and get pissed up and whatever, and if you were lucky you got your end away. Well, you did.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, actually. There's other bands, Black Sabbath and Judas Priest, they all started very humble and like Def Leppard. They were all working in the steelworks at Sheffield when they all met, or going to lift school. Rick Allen was still at school. Them sort of bands. But, like Genesis, they all went to Charterhouse except Phil. Yeah. And Steve, they're all hoity-toity and
What about?
But they made incredible music.
Well, heroes within music.
Yeah.
Apart from Chas and Dave and the Tottenham records.
Yeah. Okay. I always thought Frank Sinatra, because of not only did he sort of. He had a very extensive musical career, but his heights were in his 50s and 60s, weren't they? During the 60s, and to do it late of age, it generally doesn't get done, doesn't it? It doesn't normally happen, but it so happened for him, and I admire him for that, and I admire him for the movies he was in as well. Sort of. Getting involved with the other actors and sort of, just competing with them. You know, I'd admire him for what he did in film as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, you know, Marty, you know, you talk about the Beatles and the Stones and the Who. I mean, even for me, and I'm definitely the oldest person here, but you know, they were somebody else's music. They were already there well before I got into music, and really sort of, you know, it's around about, you know, the very early 70s when I was really getting into music, and so it'll be people like, you know, David Bowie, and I absolutely loved, you know, the sort of Ziggy Stardust period, but Slade were just, you know, they were just the band, you know, absolutely adored them. And then sort of, you know, as the 70s went on, you know, we get to punk, and that was when I thought, yeah, this is definitely my sort of music.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about heroes, but yeah, I do like, you know, I do like John Lydon. I mean, you know, there's something about the guy. I mean, he's a bit of an old curmudgeon, isn't he? And you know, and I think he likes to be, you know, controversial, but you know, he's all right, because I can remember sort of when I was working in the sort of the mid 70s, and I used to have to go every few weeks. I was training for my job, and I used to have to go up to London, up to North London, and stay there for a week. And there were these sort of like a list of sort of local people that would sort of you know, for a fee, they'd put us up for a couple of days. And there was this lovely old lady, and she was called Mrs. Hanscom, and her husband, and we used to go and stay there, me and my mate, every time we used to go up, and I can remember one night we were watching the you know, the local evening sort of program, you know, straight after the news, the sort of nationwide sort of program, and it was that Bill Grundy interview.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can remember that Mrs. Hanscom didn't like this at all. You know, she was, oh, these, you know, young people today, you know, glad that you two aren't like that. You know, you're nice young men. And I was thinking, you know, I bloody love this. You know, this is fantastic. And you know, and it was probably from that moment that I thought, yeah, punk rock's for me, definitely.
Yeah.
Because Susie was in the crowd as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Was it Glenn Matlock that calls Bill Grundy a dirty rotter?
Yeah, I think it was.
And the way he says it, it's just the way he says it.
Yeah.
Dirty rotter.
Yeah. Yeah, because he accuses him of eyeing up Susie, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite a good impression myself.
Yeah.
Dirty rotter.
Steve Jones had a few choice words in that interview and all, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I
admired the I like the fashions and all that back then, and the Mohican haircuts and that, but I was a bit too young for it. I don't think my mum would have approved, to be quite honest. But all these Doc Martin boots and the badges and the patches and the chains and all that, you know, I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, these were the people for me, like, you know. But before you know it, it'd gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was over almost before it became. But you know, the whole sort of, you know, the typical sort of punk stuff. You know, the leather jacket, the bondage trousers, and the Mohican. Very, very few people were like that.
Yeah.
Most people were like me. You know, you had your hair, and you could, you know, you could get it to stick up. I wish I still could. You know, and that was great. You know, at the weekends, and you know. And when you're back at work on Monday, you could have it nicely combed again, you know.
You see, for me, when that punk was out, I was 10, 11, and I liked like the rock and roll, and then it went all disco-y, and when punk come along, it was that energy. And then punk went into the new wave of British heavy metal. So I was on to a winner. I mean, I think punk really got me started on that heavy stuff that I listen to today. If it weren't for punk, I wouldn't be listening to some of the stuff I listen today. And people can't believe it that a person like me, like rock music, loves punk as well. But there's a lot of people that of my age, you know, all in our late 50s, that punk was that click. Like, as my dad even said this to me. He says, when I was growing up, when rock and roll come along, that blew us away. And he says, I don't like punk. He didn't like punk, but he got it.
Yeah.
He got what punk was about. He got why we got excited about it, and we like jumping around to it, because it had the same, that punk music had the same effect as the kids of the late 50s. You see, my dad is a very wise when it comes to music. He's got a great knowledge, and he just, although he doesn't like the modern music, he has got the appreciation of what a genre did, and punk did it.
I suppose, you know, regarding that, you're talking about that kind of rebellious kind of thing going on in that particular generation. And I think it was the same during when the Beatles came out in the 60s, because suddenly you had all like these girls, they can, you know, fantasize over this great band in Britain. It was kind of like a thing with the punk, wasn't it? It's like a rebellious kind of a thing. You understand what I'm saying? You know, that kind of...
Yeah. And the best thing that happened to punk was when the BBC banned the Sex Pistols. It happened in the 80s. They banned Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax. What happened there?
Don't you feel fortunate though that, I know you can sound like a bit of an old fart, but you know that we were sort of teenagers or young people when we were, because I don't really see in the future or recently a movement like what we had and what we sort of enjoyed, even going into the sort of rave culture and Manchester and you know all those sort of phases. These days there just doesn't really seem to be anything.
No.
Yeah, that's right. You know, sort of like when I met Pauline Murray a couple of weeks back.
Oh yes, the Mac that was like a kid in a sweet shop, Mike.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely loved it, and she's so nice. But what she said about punk, she said, you know, there was two things. It was the attitude, and it was the knowledge that, you know, this was our music. It was nobody else's. And you know, other people hating it was part of the pleasure.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about with the rebellious kind of thing. It's against the parents, isn't it? Even early rock and roll, you know, Elvis, you know, young people loved it, but parents hated it.
Yeah.
It kept going on, sort of different eras, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And I think the 90s was probably the last of the great kind of decades. Anything after then, and it's just kind of almost flatlined, doesn't it? There isn't any.
Britpop was probably that last.
Yeah, you know, Oasis and like even the Spice Girls were part of the Britpop scene, weren't they?
Yeah, but I think Britpop and also grunge, they were both like major, or they were certainly taken over by major labels, and they were very commercial. And actually, in a way, now we've talked our way round with all this. Bless you, Rob. There's a cat there. Look. We've worked our way round to talking about John Peel, and you know, we all like things, and then when they become more commercial, it's not so cool, is it? And surely punk must have sort of suffered from that, I would have thought.
Polystyrene said punk was good until the grown-ups got hold of it.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good quote, Nick. I think that's exactly right. Yeah.
Or words to that effect.
Yeah.
it's cool because it's a niche. Once it sort of expands on it, then everyone enjoys it. Then it's not so cool anymore because everyone likes it. You know, it's not.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
I mean, this is it. You know, I was thinking that when you did your video with Alex last week, Rob.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a sort of like similar sort of relationship with my son, but I can't imagine that when I was a kid that I'd ever be able to relate to the sort of music that my parents listened to.
Yeah.
I just didn't. It was alien to me, and it still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm lucky about rock and roll. I love rock and roll, and that's my dad's sort of thing. But I think Martin hit the thing about grunge. I think grunge sort of revitalized the heavier scene because the mid-80s, everything was what I always say this, the MTV fodder. It all had to be good for MTV. All the major rock bands went through that horrible sound. And bands like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, they brought back the gritty sound. I'm not the greatest fan of grunge, I must admit, but I'm thankful for grunge that brought heavy rock and metal back to what it was instead of this smooth garbage that every rock band suffered. There were some great glam metal bands of the 80s like Cinderella and Poison that were basically rock and roll. But it's when bands like Journey and ZZ Top went all metallic in the 80s and early 90s. It was terrible sound.
Yeah. They were a blues band, weren't they?
Yeah, they're a blues, and then they went back to blues, and they're sticking to it. Every band went through that phase. And,
I think grunge, and also some British stuff like Manic Street Preachers. I mean, that's probably as close to sort of a hero sort of thing. Certainly, first 3-4 albums that I'd ever get to. It was this first sort of introspective bedroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I
had.
I like that record hound. Frank Zappa had the best opinions regarding MTV. You just had to be crude and shake your ass for success.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think that's true with the Spice Girls. I don't know. I saw right through them. All it was.
Oh, did you have those special glasses?
Well, yeah. All it was tits and asses, really, weren't it?
Yeah.
Women's lib, girl power had been around for donkey's years.
Yeah.
It weren't nothing new.
No, the first girl bands, what about the Supremes and bands like that? They were the proper girl bands, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The problem when you have these conversations is most of us are of a certain age, and you do end up sounding like an old fart.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you all a mission. Okay, go. Okay, there's a guy, you might have heard of him. There's a guy, I mean, it's more my wife that watches these reaction videos, but there's a guy on YouTube called Ren, R-E-N, and he does videos and he does really interesting sort of music. They're not out on vinyl or CD. I checked on Discogs, they're only on download or whatever, but go and check him out. It's sort of a little bit like the Streets sort of thing, maybe, but he's got a bit more to him than just that. Yeah, R-E-N is called.
Right.
Not
I've got him
R-E-N.
up here now,
R-E-N.
like playing a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got him up here now on my TV. I'll keep the sound down.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rob's right that we're of a certain age, and and for all of us, there's there are musical subcultures out there that we just don't understand. And I mean, I suspect that stuff like drill and jungle are sort of far closer to the sort of punk ethos than anything modern that we might listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of kids, and they're both like my daughter. She likes Charlie XCX. She went to Italy to go and see her. She's been to London. She travels around Europe watching music. She's not someone who's got a record collection or anything like that, or CDs, but I can always hear music coming out of her room. So she just sort of digests it in a different way than what we used to do. But I think you've got to be careful that you kind of, young people do still care about music, but I don't think they obviously don't spend generally like we used to do.
No.
I think they use Spotify, don't they? A lot of them, and just rely on that their only source of music. They have it on their phones. And
but it's a great source of music, isn't it, Simon? I mean, if you think about what we used to have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you were lucky that you might be lucky enough to hear something on the radio that you liked.
Yeah.
Or you might read about something in Sounds or NME. Or your mates have heard something and tell you about it. So, music for me, it was, sort of probably about 10% vinyl records and 90% cassette tapes that my mates had taped for.
You didn't have to buy everything because your group of friends, well, I've got that album, and all you had to do is go and buy a C60 or something, give him the tape, and he'd come back with. I mean, my dad used to do it for me, for my mates. They'd all come round with their cassettes, and he'd just record them for them. My dad, he would just sort of encourage us. He says, "Okay, you can't afford the albums, but this is the nearest you're going to get to it until you can." And that's how we did. I mean, that's how I got all the AC/DC albums to start with. That my best mate's dad, he had them all on album. So he just sat, every time he put an AC/DC album on, he'd record it for me. And he just kept throwing tapes at me. It wasn't a case of, I'll give you a tape. Because we were so close and we was all, everyone knew each other, dads, mums and all that sort of thing. It was just throwing tapes around all the time. And I think that's where kids miss out. What we didn't. We had that. And it just was great. We'll just go and buy a single.
Yeah, but we've kind of lost that kind of that whole social aspect of lending tapes, lending LPs, recording stuff, going to parties and writing your names on records so you know whose is whose. Yeah. That doesn't happen anymore. There's none of that. That's all gone.
But they, to another degree, though, they've got sort of interaction with each other every moment of the day if they want.
Yeah, but that's on social media.
It's a lot different to what we were doing.
Yeah,
it's a lot different, but they've got contact with each other and people all over Europe and all over the world. It's just totally different. I mean, our teenage life was different to our parents, weren't it? So it's just how things are, isn't it?
It's nice though, sometimes when I'm out and about and I get some of the young metalheads of today, and they always say to me, "I wish I was around at the beginning of like you witnessed and you was part of," and that gives me heart. That when you got 16, 17-year-olds that shouldn't be in a pub, but they're there and they're enjoying the bands and the music, and it's nice to talk to the youngsters about bands. And when you say, "Oh, I've seen these and I've seen them," I mean, there's a lad that follows, subscribes to me called the Rock Beast. He's a young, and he loves the glam metal like Kiss and Poison and that, and he always makes comments and does his ranking. And there's someone like that. It's so encouraging to get people of that age, and they seem to be as enthusiastic as we are, and we still are. And that's what annoys me within the VC. There's a lot of people that sort of poo-poo the younger ones. We shouldn't be poo-pooing young members in the VC. We should be encouraging them and getting them the passionate as what we are. So if there's any youngsters here of a certain age, if you watch this by mistake, you're more than welcome to come here and get talking with us about music, because we all passionately care. Rob's shaking his head, but it's up to us as the older generation to encourage young people to get involved.
They've got better things to do than be watching this, haven't they, to be fair? If they were watching this, I'd be a bit worried.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is going to be, Nick, you have created probably going to be one of the closest votes in the Battle of the Debuts history. It's neck and neck still, and I don't think it'll always be neck and neck. Charles has said, what happens if there's a draw in the Battle Royale? Well, the way we're going to do that, whoever's on the panel that night will have a casting vote. So it could be up to whoever's on the panel on that night when we have the results in. And even I won't vote, though. I'm like me and Dave were not allowed to vote.
Yeah. You better make sure there's an odd number of us then.
Yeah. Or we just put it out. Well, I'm sure we'll come up with something. We'll have to go to penalties. Yes. Thank you, Paul. So hopefully I said my bit for youngsters.
Yeah. I think it's important, though, isn't it? That I mean, one of the things that really depresses me about the vinyl community is the Beatles. It's and sort of I was watching a Ben Rankins video the other day, and he showed a Beatles record, and he says, despite the fact that the vinyl community is trying to make me hate the Beatles, I still like them.
This is an American obsession, I think, with the Beatles.
Yeah.
I mean, we all, if you hate them here, if you don't mind them here, whatever. But I think most of the American VC mainstay, some of them have a thing for Britain. Maybe less so British people have a thing for Americana. But yeah, there's definitely a thing about liking the Beatles. The main, I can think of, Mazzy and Rachel and who else is there? Yeah, well, those two for starters are obsessed about the Beatles, aren't they, in a way?
It's like the radio when they overplay like certain songs, you get sick of them. It's the same with the overseas where they keep banging on and harping on about the Beatles. Most of us love the Beatles, but to keep hearing it over and over by Americans, you kind of like, enough's enough. I love the Beatles, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to keep hearing about it. Shut up.
I remember saying this on the shows. The people at America.
I mean, you just say, well, what more is there to say?
There isn't. They're a great band. That's it. The best in the world ever. And you can't say any more than that. That's enough. We know how phenomenal they were in the 60s and everything, all about their albums. We know it all.
Well, but people still find stuff to talk about, and inevitably it's got into this sort of really sort of turgid, sort of irrelevant stuff. And they talk about the the album covers, and they go, oh well, this one, this one is a second press from West Germany. You can tell it by the way the cardboard is folded on the back, and you think, I don't care. I don't care. It's what's on the vinyl that counts, isn't it?
It's the other thing, they're championing up the movies. I think the Beatles movies are terrible.
Yeah, Hard Day's Night is appalling.
Yeah, Mazzy was singing that to his Scott, and I know.
Well, it's a crap film, but of course it's Beatles. it's on there, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
No bands have made
Yeah.
good movies. Some of them, they're diabolical. I mean, I love Slade, but the Slade in Flames isn't not a very good movie. Status Quo made a movie that was terrible, but I've got
Spinal
it.
Tap. Can you have Spinal Tap?
No, that's different. That's
Yeah.
apparently that's
That is
different.
good.
That's basically taking the mickey out of the 70s bands like Status Quo, Uriah Heep, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin. That's all about. And a lot of them apparently are true stories that they've sort of elaborated on.
I'd rather hear about the Rolling Stones because they have such an extensive library of albums, don't they? I mean, there's album after album. They could talk about them, couldn't they? They could.
Or the Who. We said this a bit earlier tonight. The Who. There were so many good bands at that time, but never really made it in America. You know, well, who did we have at the time? The Stones, the Who, the Beatles, the Trogs, the Kinks, the Hollies, the Searchers, Freddie and the Dreamers.
Look at Rob. He's gone to the sofa. Yeah.
Dave Clark 5. They made it big in America, didn't they? Pretty big.
Yeah, they did, but they don't talk about them.
I thought they were crap. I much prefer Spencer Davis Group to them.
Yeah.
I mean, Rod Stewart did it well abroad, didn't he? But they never talk about Rod Stewart.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but you know, I just wonder how it's sort of come to this. You know that. You know, I could never imagine, however much I like a band, to sort of decide, well, that's all I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to talk about this band, and I'll forget about everything else. I won't listen to anything new.
It's obsession.
I'll just go on and on about this one band.
You see, glam rock sort of totally missed America, didn't it?
Who's that band? Who is that band? Who are they?
Dave Clark 5 were almost as popular as the Beatles at one point.
Oh, it could have been worse then, I suppose.
The rock beast, high rock beast.
Ooh.
My thoughts on Belinda Carlisle. I love the Go-Go, so yes, I like Belinda Carlisle.
I liked her. I went to see her.
He's one of our younger viewers, rock beast. So, anyway, it's come to that time where we've got to all go because it's 2 hours.
Oh.
But this has been a fantastic discussion tonight about music, and we've sort of covered a lot. So thanks again to Mike, Nick, Martin, Simon, and Rob, and thank you for you in the Obscurians. Have a great week. I'm off to see Francis Rossi's show tomorrow night. I'll tell you all about it next week. Rob's looking really engulfed about that one. So once again, thank you. Can we do our little wave for the shots, for the screens, for the thumbnail waves, and then whatever, and stupid faces? There, that'll do. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, we'll have to do an Iron Maiden one week on the back of their covers where the finger goes, but we might get.
I'm being punk.
You're being punk. Thank you very much, everyone. This has been another super.
Isn't that punk?
Yeah, that's
that and all.
Isn't that punk?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much,
that's a very American. That's an American signal, you know.
And on that note,
sorry. The Beatles never did that, did it? It wouldn't have gone down very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.